I'm a travel planner, and this is how I spent my Disney Wish vacation. We flew in a day early and checked into Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter. Then we headed down to the lobby to grab some lunch at Sasagula. I ordered the French dip, and Chad had the jambalaya. Then we made our way to the Scat Cats Club for a little drink and treat. The Goulash Delight beignet was messy but delicious. Then we grabbed our Playful Spirit and headed to the pool. And later that night, we headed to Epcot for the after-hours party. I grabbed a fire taiko roll and a beef wagyu don. Then we headed over to Ratatouille and rode it more times than I care to admit, and ended the night with Mickey ice cream and Figment. After checking out of our hotel room at Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter, we decided to head to Sasagula to grab some breakfast. Then it was time for us to meet up in the lobby to wait for the bus that would take us to Port Canaveral. We waited in the lobby area of Port Canaveral until our boarding group was called and we could finally board the ship. We grabbed our magic wands in the atrium, and I was determined not to forget it this time. Then we headed up to Marceline Market for some lunch. I grabbed some carrots and bok choy with rice, salmon, and some tiki masala chicken. And what's a cruise without some shrimp cocktail? After lunch, it was time to do a little bit of sightseeing while we waited for the rooms to be open. But first, a quick stop into the Untangled salon for the Fire and Ice manicure. Tangled is one of my favorite princess movies, so of course I had to stop in and get a manicure. There are even a couple little hidden pascals around, so make sure to keep an eye out. Then it was time for the set sail party on the deck, so I grabbed some ice cream and a drink, and of course I forgot my wand.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Then we played some trivia before it's time to head over to Worlds of Marble for dinner. We started off dinner with the Stinger cocktail and the marble loaf with red pepper dipping sauce. Then it was time for us to order our dinner as the show began. My favorite part about this show is that Ant-Man is just as obsessed with towel animals as I am. Then we messed with some Pim particles, and then it was time for our first courses. We got the bao bun and the kartoffel soup. I also am a big fan of the screens that tell you all the little details about different heroes and villains. Very cool. And then we received our main course. Mine was the beef tenderloin. Then we messed with those Pim particles one more time before it was finally time to order dessert. The Pim donut sundae was delicious. Then Ultron started attacking the ship, so of course we needed some rescuing from our fellow heroes. And with the Avengers finally assembled, there was only one way to stop Ultron. So of course we plugged those Pim particles one last time. And then we wrapped dinner with a visit from our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Then it was Chad's turn for his facial at the Hook's Barbery, while I explored the ship some more, grabbed some ice cream, played some trivia, and then back to the room for tonight's towel animal. Can you guess what it is? Our first stop on the cruise was Nassau, Bahamas. We first headed up to Cove Cafe for a coffee and chai. Mine even came with a little hey on top, and I just love the Moana theme to this Cove Cafe. Our port adventure for the day took us to the Atlantis Resort. This port adventure gave us access to the Atlantis Water Park and the aquarium. We checked out some of the animals before we headed over to the shark tank for the slide. The slide is so much fun, but the best part is just slowly drifting through that shark tank. Then after some fun in the water, we had to check out their aquarium. The theming of this whole area was definitely my favorite part. It's definitely worth checking out if you can. Then it was time to head back to the ship where we grabbed food at Donald's Cantina. Then we headed over to Joyful Sweets for some of the 25th themed treats. Then it was time to get ready for Pirate Night. And then off we went to Arendelle for dinner and a royal wedding. Bread was a Viking loaf with onion dip and the ice harvest. And then we were finally greeted by the royals.
I feel so full of love, like a warm hug.
Then next up was mine and Sven's favorite carrot soup and the Arendelle Jacquet. And Oaken and Kristoff's Let It Go stole the show. Then we were supposed to head over to the top deck for the Pirates party, but unfortunately it rained on us, so it got moved to the atrium, and the atrium was just too crowded, so we decided to play some trivia instead. Then we did some more exploring around the ship before we decided to end the night at the Rose. I definitely recommend checking out this bar, it is pure elegance. Then we headed back to the room for tonight's towel animal. Can you guess what it is? Our last stop on the cruise was Disney's own private island, Castaway Cay. We started off the morning watching Lilo and Stitch on Funnel Vision. Then we headed over to the Quiet Cove pools while we waited for the Aquamouse to open up. If you're a fan of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, you have to check out this slide. It's so much fun, and there's even a little fish version of Chubby. Then we finally made our way off the ship so we could head to the beach for some Castaway Cay fun. We spent a couple hours relaxing on the beach before we headed back to the boat for some trivia. And after finally winning a game of trivia, it was time to take some pictures. First up was Captain Mickey in his 25th outfit. Then we hung out for a few minutes before it was time to see Pluto. Pluto was not happy I was wearing cat ears, so he made me take them off. Then we took a break to grab some food at Mickey's Smokestack. They do serve lunch on Castaway Cay at Cookies, and it's great barbecue, but it was more important for us to get the pictures, so we compromised and ate on the ship. And after we did some walking around to digest the food, it was time for the piece de resistance, Captain Mickey. Then I took a minute to appreciate this Encanto family tree art, before it's time to do laundry at the Fairy Tale Fresh Laundry. I'm usually doing laundry on our vacation, so I appreciate they took the time to make this place look cute and adorable. Then it was time for our dinner at 1923. There's no show to this restaurant, so we started ordering our dinner. I started off with the ahi tuna and the tomato soup, and then the filet mignon for dinner. Then we got to the point of the cruise where our servers were just giving us all the desserts, so I had the cheesecake and the churros. Then I did some exploring in the atrium while I waited for our laundry to finish. Then we finished the night up at Hyperspace Lounge. Enjoy these gummy snacks while you drink in a galaxy far, far away. They have a variety of cocktails inspired by different planets throughout the galaxy, and some non-alcoholic. I ordered the Spire's Sunset from Batu, and it even came with this little bubble on top. After playing a couple hands of sabacc, we ended up in the Keg and Compass for some trivia. And unfortunately, it was time to head back to the room for our final towel animal. Can you guess what it is?